Yo, what is going on? This is going to be my first attempt at ever doing a podcast, so you guys are going to get to grow with me here. I post on TikTok a lot on Matt Knows Ball. That's my TikTok account. If you want to follow me, I post a bunch of shit on there. I got a basketball back here right now. God knows why, because we're talking mostly football today. But I just want to, give this a shot. I don't know how to use Premiere Pro yet, so I'm sure this is going to be poorly edited, but it's going to be a start. That's what matters. So, if you're watching, I would greatly appreciate it. But I just want to yap today, man. I want to talk about this TJ Watt contract. I think that the Steelers paying TJ Watt, I've seen a lot of people, like Colin Cowherd thinks they should have moved off TJ Watt. He said they'd have been taking calls on TJ Watt. And me personally, I just feel like TJ, like, you have to pay the guy. Like, as much as I understand you want to move off or you don't think that he's as valuable as he used to be or whatever, like, TJ is a premier pass rusher in the league, and you just went all in with Aaron Rodgers. So it's like you're in a weird situation where you have to pay the guy. Like, it's not really an option at this point. You kind of have to pay TJ Watt because he's going to be good. Now, 2 years down the road, is TJ Watt probably going to be overpaid? Yeah, bro. TJ Watt's probably not going to be the best pass rusher in the league still 2 years from now. Who knows? Maybe he has some Aaron Donald level longevity, but I just don't know if that's, it's not always, TJ Watt hasn't always been the healthiest guy. He's not always been the most, the most reliable guy game in, game out basis, but not in terms of performance, but in terms of health. So, it's not impossible for me to see TJ Watt being overpaid a couple years from now, but do I think that do I think that makes this a bad move for the Steelers? No. You you got Aaron Rodgers. You traded for DK Metcalf, which I thought was weird, but to each his own. I thought trading for DK Metcalf was a bit of a weird move. You moved on from a sideline receiver and George Pickens with some, I don't know how to put it, but you move on from a guy in George Pickens who has some not off the field issues, actually really on the field issues in terms of like penalty problems. That's really where I'm trying to go with this. Hey, first time, penalty problems. You got a guy with George Pickens who you moved off of because he was inconsistent, was, didn't seem like he was as bought in. Maybe I honestly, I'm not sure. The George Pickens whole thing was weird, but you moved on from a deep ball sideline receiver, a big play receiver, a go get the ball receiver, and then went and got another one and gave him a huge contract. And then you go and get a 40-year-old quarterback. So I don't really know what the Steelers' direction looks like this year. I know I'm not one to talk as a Raiders fan, but I'm actually pretty high on us this year. So also, just because I feel like the first pod, it needed to be done in the Brock Bowers jersey. I wish I had my Charles Woodson jersey from a couple years back, but I do not know where that went. So, hey, you live and you learn, I guess. But the first pod felt like it had to be done in a Raiders fit. So another thing that I wanted to cover, the TJ Watt contract was like, that's just what are you gonna do? There's not really much else to talk about besides that. Like, it's, yeah, you have to pay this guy. Do I think it was like an overpay? No, not really. Do I think that in a couple of years it'll be an overpay? Yeah, that's really it. And then I seen recently in the NBA people talking about this LeBron trade rumor. The Lakers are not moving off of LeBron James. It's not going to happen. It never will. It would make no sense for either part. What contender is LeBron James going to go to? And what contending team is going to have the assets to get LeBron James, right? And then still be a contending team and still pay him. I just don't see where that could work except maybe New York. But does LeBron want to pack it up and move to New York? Probably not, right? Like, let's be honest here. Do I really think that LeBron wants to call it a day in LA and move to New York? And then if he'll be 41, hopefully he'll play until he's 42 or later. But like, if you're in New York, you're going to be 42 years old, and the expectation is that you need to win every year. Like, if you go to New York and you play on that team, you and Jalen Brunson, that the expectations are going to be that you win every single year. And if you lose, people who hate LeBron are going to use that against LeBron. And if LeBron wins, they're going to say he stacked the deck and went to, some elite team. So I don't see the positives of saying, you know what, I don't want to be a Laker anymore. Like I don't see where that really like I don't see where the correlation between that and like success comes from. Besides the Knicks, maybe if the Lakers were okay taking on Karl Anthony Towns for him. But like, why would you go besides the East being weak? I understand that the East is weak, whatever. But I mean, you're in LA with Luka Doncic. Like you're playing with a top 5 player in the league, a guy who we all think is a Hall of Famer, a guy who's gonna retire probably as a top 20 basketball player of all time, for being completely honest. I don't know. It just feels like you're like the grass is always greener. You know what I mean? Like just because like you saw some hot chick walking down the street and decided to dump your girlfriend. Like, dude, you play for the Lakers. You know what I mean? You don't have to go and just say, I got to get out of here. And I'm a LeBron guy. I just don't feel like this makes sense. I get it. This is Luka's team. This is the first time in a while it hasn't been your team. I don't get why you'd want to move off LeBron if you were the Lakers, much less if you were LeBron, why you'd want to move away from the Lakers. I just don't get it. I think this is a perfect fit. I think the DeAndre Ayton contract, believe it or not, a lot of people hated on that. It's a great signing for $8 million. Like, it's DeAndre Ayton. You got him for $8 million. The guy's going to be a double machine. Playing with Luka Doncic, that guy's going to average 14 points and 9 rebounds, 10 rebounds. Like, I'm not a huge DeAndre Ayton guy personally. I think that he's a little soft and doesn't really play like a true center. Okay. That, you know what? That was weak. I don't like the true center thing, but he just doesn't really like. He just doesn't do it for me. He doesn't. It just seems like one of those guys who's got all the skills, but doesn't have the doesn't have it up top, doesn't have that dog in him. But I don't know him. But when I watch him play, I don't see the motor. I don't see the killer every play. Like when you watch. This is obviously a different sport, but when you watch like Lawrence Taylor play football, it's like that guy just every play it was just, I'm gonna take your head off every play, no questions asked. I'm gonna fucking kill you every single play. DeAndre Ayton don't got that's just not what it is. That's just not who he is. That's not his game. That's not his mentality. Like Ben Wallace, there's a good one for basketball. Ben Wallace, every single play Ben Wallace was on the floor, it was like, holy shit, that's Ben Wallace right there. That guy's gonna fucking kill me. Like, he always was 100 miles an hour all day, all the time. And I just if DeAndre Ayton had that, he'd be one of the better players in the league. Like, outside of that, I'm not here for the DeAndre Ayton hating. I'm just saying you're in a good situation. I do think the DeAndre Ayton signing was good. Luka's gonna prop this guy up and make him look even better. And it's like now you can focus more on being good on defense and, you know, like it's not like you have to take on the load of the offense like LeBron has the last couple of years where it was just LeBron, you and AD run pick and roll 1,000 times a game. And that's how we're going to win. Like between him and Austin Reeves, who I think is a little bit overrated, but still a great player, I just don't see how you would even want to leave that situation. Like it's Luka Doncic. Another thing that I wanted to cover. We're gonna pause. We're gonna edit that. Another thing that I wanted to cover was Angel Reese being the 2K cover. I gotta say, I thought that was stupid. There's a lot of other players who I thought were more deserving, but and this isn't a Caitlin Clark Angel Reese thing, although we are going to cover Caitlin Clark because she's kind of been playing stinky as fuck. But I just think, I mean, I guess Asia was there last year, but there's so many other WNBA players that you could put in that situation, like Sabrina or Kelsey Plum or any of these like great players who I feel like just should have. Nafisa Collier, I'm not 100% that's how you pronounce her name, but like she's one of the best players in the WNBA this year. I just don't see why you would have Angel Reese, but I guess I will say that I don't know about her on the 2K cover, but I do want to give her credit. I've historically been an Angel Reese hater. I I'm a big dude. I historically think that I could probably beat Angel Reese in a game of basketball, and I'm sure I'm going to get flamed in the comments for that. But she's been hooping lately. I got to give Angel Reese her credit where it's due. She's been getting to the rim. She's been getting hey, I seen a jab step cross midi pull the other day. You got it. Hey, she's getting in the bag. You know what I mean? This is what I like to see. I did a lot of hating because I don't think she's as good as Caitlin Clark. But right now, Caitlin Clark's playing like shit. Caitlin Clark's been terrible this year. She's like 2 for 35 on her last like 35 attempts from three. Gross. Hella turnovers. She's got to cut the turnovers down. Caitlin Clark's got to get the turnover situation figured out. I don't know how. I don't know what she's got to do. I think it's just honestly throughout her career, she's probably going to be a higher turnover kind of player. But like, I understand. I think that it's more of a youth thing right now, and it will become more controlled. Like Steph's always been a bit of a high turnover guy, a higher turnover than you'd like for a guy who doesn't have as much on ball creation volume as him. So I understand that, but the Angel Reese thing did kind of feel like you just wanted to stir up a little bit of like controversy, like we're gonna put Angel Reese on the cover. A bunch of people on Twitter are gonna be racist. A bunch of people on Twitter are gonna be terrible human beings and say all kinds of horrible shit about Angel Reese and get us like a ton of press on the 2K cover. Also, the 2K cover felt like low effort. But Angel Reese has been hooping. I got to give her credit where credit is due. She's been going stupid lately. She's getting like I've seen these stat lines on. I don't watch a ton of WNBA, but I won't act like I don't watch any. You know what I mean? I think I know WNBA better than the average like doofus who likes basketball. Because I love basketball to the point where I watch Summer League, I watch WNBA, I watch all kinds of shit. So at the end of the day, I think that I probably have a little bit better, understanding of the W as a whole. I just don't see. I don't know. I wasn't seeing it last year. I'm finally starting to see it this year. Like some of these stat lines that she's been putting up have been wicked. Like I've seen like 27 and 17 the other day, and I was like, all right, hey, she shut me the fuck up because there's nothing I was doing like hating on Angel Reese lately. Not like these racist morons on Twitter like saying all kinds of crazy shit and telling her she looks like shit or she's ugly or whatever. But like, hey, I didn't think she was that fucking good. I thought she was Andre Drummond of the WNBA. Like I thought she was out there like DeAndre Jordan. You know what I mean? But recently she's looking like a top 20 player in the league. So I got to give her credit where her credit's due. In other football news, I seen that this order's all fucked up. This is where the expertise podcasting comes into play. I should have led with all the football topics, and then we slowly, we start with Terry McLaurin, which I'm about to get to right now. I should have led with that and TJ instead of going to LeBron and Angel Reese. Actually, LeBron's a good part, but like, I got to get this Terry McLaurin part out before I get to Angel Reese in this podcast. But Terry McLaurin still holding out. I think that's interesting. I think you got to pay the guy again. It's another situation where it's like, what are you going to do? You're all in. You know what I mean? You do I think that he's going to be worth how much they're going to end up paying? He's going to probably be a pretty close to the top of the market guy. Like he had a pretty good year last year. I think he had like 17 touchdowns. Let me fact check that real quick while I yap. But you're going to be stuck in a situation with Terry McLaurin where you have to pay him because what are you going to do? You're going to tell Jaden Daniels, fuck you. You know what I mean? Just go figure it out. Just don't have your favorite receiver. 13 touchdowns. He had 1,000 yards. 80 receptions, man. Like he had a good season. He's a 1,000-yard receiver. I don't think top of the market's obviously a stretch. I didn't mean like Justin Jefferson money, but like you're going to be paying this guy A- money, A money, B+ money to be I don't know, the 17th. Okay, 17th is crazy, but like top 15 receiver in football probably. So it's going to be an overpay, but like, what are you going to do? Jaden Daniels, fuck you. You know what I mean? Just figure it out this year. You and Debo, who, I mean, hasn't been exactly the peak of greatness recently in his career. I've never been a huge Debo guy as a receiver. I think that he worked perfectly in the Shanahan system because he's a gadget guy. You know what I mean? He's a running back who catches the ball, in my opinion. Like, Debo probably would have been a better running back than a receiver. You know what? Maybe that was a stupid take, but we're out here, you know what I mean, just throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks for the first pod. But yeah, I don't know. I've never been a huge Debo guy, so what are you going to do? Just leave him with Debo and Zach Ertz? Is Zach Ertz still on that team? I hope he is. It's so hard to keep up with how many people aren't signed or are in free agency and all kinds of weird shit or have been traded in the offseason. I almost have to do like a reset before I do like my picks. I got to like go through the rosters and be like, okay, who did they lose? Who did they keep? And really go through the shit. But like, I think they improved their offensive line too. So you're all in on the Commanders at this point. The weird thing that's going to happen, I think it was Eric Mangini, who I love. I saw him talking about this on First Things First the other day, where I think that I can't remember if it was him, but I seen someone talking about this recently. Maybe it was Danny Parkins, where I think that the Commander situation, they're going to probably be a better team this year with a worse record and less playoff victories. Like last year was a lot of one score games, a lot of like that crazy shit against the Bears. I'll never forget that. I had 250 on Bears money line. I think I was a live bet too. I was like, the Bears are going to win this game. They looked bad at the beginning, I think. And the Bears shit the bed, and Tyreek Stevenson should have been left at the stadium. You know what I mean? They should have just left that guy there. Should have told him to just pack his shit. But uh, they had so many games last year that were one score games or clutch moments, like the game against Joe Burrow. That was a gorgeous dot from Jaden Daniels. I'm not taking anything away from that, but like most of those games probably aren't going to go the exact same way again. You know, at the end of the day, and your level of playoff success probably not going to be in the NFC Championship game again unless Jaden Daniels goes ape shit and just, I mean, unless the guy has a better season than he did last year, which normally isn't the case with a sophomore quarterback like CJ Stroud. Like CJ Stroud didn't have his best season this year. I think he'll be back, but you know what I mean, most quarterbacks in their second year have a bit of a lull unless you had a shitty first season and then you're like, you know what I mean, you're making a statement now. Let me get a sip of this real quick. If Gatorade, if you want to sponsor me, I'm like the number one Gatorade consumer on the planet. Like I swear to God, I got 4 Gatorades in the fridge right now. Gatorade. If this ever blows up, come back to this. My first podcast, I shouted you out. I love a blue Gatorade and an orange Gatorade. So if there's ever, you know what I mean, if you ever need a Gatorade athlete, I'll go pretend like I can get in some fucking pass pro. I'll put on some pads and fucking, you know, I could do that. Or if maybe like a mean fadeaway jumper, I can give you one of those. You know, let me stop bullshitting. But yeah, with the Terry McLaurin thing, you got to pay the guy. I think that the team's gonna get better and probably somehow be worse record wise. Still probably a double digit win team, but that's going to be a bit of a tougher division. I think the Cowboys are probably going to be shitty this year, but I mean, you have to play the Eagles twice, and those are going to be 2 rough football games. Like there's just nothing. Your injury luck probably won't. It's not like they were like, you know, I mean, flawless last year, but in terms of year to year, if you have a year where you're not super injured, you're always scared. Like it's like the opposite of what's been going on with the Lions the last few years, where like I've been like the Lions desperately need just 1 year of being healthy. Like for the love of God, just let this team be healthy one time. Or like the Niners just get fucked constantly by injuries. No complaints here as a Raider fan. I don't hate the Niners, but you know what I mean, I don't want to see them constantly being better than my team, so fuck them. Speaking of, you know what I mean, I'm not going to give out any predictions, but I feel like talking about it. I got my Raiders stuff on, so I'd rather cement myself super early. What is this? I'm recording this on July 18th, so if I'm right, just remember I was here from the jump. I just hit my desk. That was probably loud as fuck. My fault. But I think that the Raiders are going to be a good team this year, man. I think that the Raiders could be a double-digit win team. I really do. I know that that's disgusting, and it's probably going to backfire, and I'm going to want to kill myself after the end of the year. 4 games into the year, I'm going to be hoping we tank probably, but I've never been high on the Raiders before. Every single year, I expect us to lose every game. I hope that we lose every game so we can get a good draft pick, but this is one of the only years in a while where I feel like we addressed everything. Receiver core probably still needs a little bit of work, but I'm not freaking out about that. But I mean, think about it, man. We had Sincere McCormick taking snaps last year. Zamir White, like our running back depth was atrocious. Our starters were atrocious. Our quarterback play was atrocious. Gardner Minshew made the playoffs damn near, I think, on the call. I can't remember if he actually made the playoffs or if they missed by like a game. It didn't matter. They're not winning anything. But Gardner Minshew looked awesome on the Colts and then came to the team and just shit the bed. So that's not surprising. It's a Raiders quarterback. So what do you expect? Our coach was not good. You know, I mean, think about it. The Raiders had probably one of the bottom 5 run games in the NFL, bottom 5 coaching situation in the NFL, bottom 10 receiving core in the NFL. Our DBs our secondary was terrible. We got Jeremy Chin, who I like. We drafted Jack Beck, who I really like. Brock Bowers is going to be the best tight end of the league again. You know what I'm saying? Already. And then when you draft a guy at 5 or 6, I think we were 6. When you draft Ashton Genty with the 6th pick, like, you have to expect that this guy's going to be elite. And if he's not elite, it's going to be a serious letdown, man. Like, that's just how it goes. So my assumption is I think Ashton Genty is going to be one of the 5 to 6 best running backs in the NFL this year. So we're going from worst in the league to best in the league. And our coaching situation, we went from, Antonio Pierce, who I didn't hate, but let's not pretend like that guy was exactly, the peak of, he wasn't exactly Bill Belichick. So we go from Antonio Pierce to a literal Hall of Fame coach. I like our OC now. I like our situation. I'm just saying, if we go stupid and we win a lot of games this year, this will be reposted somewhere. I'll be pulling this clip to say, hey, I'm the one who said the Raiders are going to be a decent football team this year. Also, sorry about that. I got to get some blackout curtains back there. That's bright as hell. But I'll put some work in on that. I think, 20-minute pod for the first one. I'm going to get some more topics to talk about for the next one, but I think that this wasn't too bad. I could yap by myself all day if I really wanted to, but I would like to get this posted before I go to work. I'm supposed to leave in like 25, 30 minutes, so we'll see if I can get some shitty editing. I'm probably going to get an atrocious Adobe Premiere Pro template intro that's going to look really basic and really boring on this, so sorry in advance for that, but it'll improve over time as I figure out how to do this shit. But I would appreciate, if you actually watch this and you enjoyed this whatsoever. Give me some opinions down below. I want to do like one of my favorite podcasters, John Middlecoff. He does a mailbag. I would love if we could do that. I know that I don't have any sort of following right now, so I'm sure this will get like 15 views and nobody will comment. But if we could get a bunch of, I'm gonna post this on. I'll actually let me start from the jump right now. I'm gonna post this clip on TikTok for my podcast. I want takes. I want takes to respond to. Give me content. It's the off season. It's fucking the middle of July. It's the dead middle. It's the dead center of July right now. You know what I mean? Give me some shit to talk about. I want you to go in the comments and just spew some bullshit that I can respond to. Basically my favorite podcaster right now. It's either John Middlecoff, Colin Cowherd. He's not really a podcaster, but my favorite guys to watch: John Middlecoff and Colin Cowherd and Jason Timpf. But John Middlecoff does a mailbag where he, has people send him shit, and I think that would be awesome. I want to get some takes. If you see this and then you're in the TikTok comment section, just I'll respond to your comment, and if I did, then you made it on the pod, and I'll talk about the take, I guess. But I think that would be fun to do, like a mailbag style segment. I like interacting with the people that I'm talking about. I don't like just coming on here and spewing complete bullshit. I'd like to get your guys' opinions, talk about them, give you my ideas, especially in the off season. Don't get me wrong. Once football season's cranking, like, yeah, it's going to be pretty easy to do a podcast. You know what I mean? Like, well, it's going to be pretty easy to talk about. I can go to every game and tell you what happened. And we're going to do a bunch of gambling content as well. So we're going to get the content figured out. This is probably the absolute worst time to be doing hey, let's start a podcast in the middle of fucking July. But what matters is that we're getting started. We're getting the reps in. So I appreciate you guys. I'm going to post that clip on TikTok and get some takes. And I'll come back and I'll do another one of these tomorrow. Fuck it.